guys, my name is Tamika. This is my channel, Tamikamichelle, and today I'm in my car. That you knew.
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her.
You knew. I'm actually waiting for my food to be ready, so I'm at this pizza place. I'm getting like you didn't ask. You really didn't ask. I'm getting like a pizza and bruschetta, and I'm getting like a thin crust pizza, bruschetta, and I'm getting a salad. Anyway, doesn't matter. Now you know. I wanted to talk about the books that I read for the month of August, and I was like, this is a great time. I'm sitting here. I left my book at the house. So I have my phone here. That's what I'm looking down on. And so let's start with Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. I did it. I did. I read Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. I was not compelled by the magic system at all. It didn't call or speak to me. So Elantris tells the tale of a world where they had gods, and people would turn into these gods during this kingdom. But all of a sudden, people who should have transcended into godlike creatures were now turning into immortal zombie-like creatures. And so they were almost damned in a certain way. And so they would live off so he pretty much closed off this particular kind of kingdom, pretty much calling it cursed. This prince who honestly comes down with this sickness, pretty much fakes his own death and banishes himself. And the woman who he's supposed to marry thinks that she's going to meet her fiance. Come to find out, he's dead, so she believes. And it's her navigating the politics of this particular kingdom while the prince is navigating the truth behind this affliction that he's dealing with, and the people who are also dealing with it as well. So that's pretty much Elantris in a nutshell. Lots and lots of political intrigue. Brandon Sanderson does a really, really good job of making dynamic characters. All the characters are actually very interesting. We have Prince Rawdon, and he's a really cool character in the sense of, like, you can tell he's a very honorable man. He's very smart. He's very interesting. He's very hopeful in a way. And so even though I liked him as a character, his part of the book was probably the most boring. Like, them figuring out what's going on behind this whole thing. I don't know what was about it, but it dragged so much. And I think that's what slowed it down for me. Like, every time I got to his section of the book, I was just like, oh gosh, what's happening? Like, it was difficult to read. It's not horrible, but it's just like, it takes a while. It picks up, but it takes a while for it to become compelling. Now, Serena, that's my chick, the one, the would-be queen, the fiance of the prince or whatever. She was chef's kiss. I feel like Brandon Sanderson had like a really good time writing her character, writing out all of her challenges, figuring out how she overcomes them. I mean, she's such a badass. It's clear that she's ahead of her time according to this kingdom. She comes where, you know, women are more equal, and then they go to that kingdom. It's stupid, like old-fashioned, and they think so little of their women. It's so easy for Serena to manipulate them. Like, she always plays the dumb girl when she's absolutely brilliant. Or she'll be like, well, we're just playing games, and it was like, we don't like our women to know how to fight. This is just exercise. Of course we're not as smart and big as you guys. Like, it's just really funny, her whole character and how she manipulates these like dim-witted people. But and so that I really, really loved. I had a good time. I may need to reread it to really decide if I like it or not. Right now I'm really on the honestly, I'm on the edge with, do I love this book or is it just okay? But I would recommend someone to read it, but please know it's not nearly as good as, like, because I believe Elantris is Brandon Sanderson's like, I think really first novel, and it reads like one. And so everything after it, everything that got really big and popular, if you read that first, this is a tough read. But I read it because it's part of that Cosmerian universe, and I just wanted to know. The next book I read was Reset, and Reset is a book that I received in a book box, and it pretty much tells a futuristic world, which isn't all that is futuristic. The only thing that's futuristic about it is that they always takes people memories. So like, you don't know who your parents are, you don't know who your past loved ones are, you don't know who your co-workers are, you don't know nothing about your past life, and they pretty much leave you with like the ability to speak your book smart, should I say, math and things like that. But as far as your relationships with people, they erase that, and the whole point of that was to mediate, war. If you don't know you hate someone, you're less likely to get in a fight with them, right? If you forget them altogether, you're less likely to have like these problems. So, but the issue is that a group of people, they get together and they believe that their dreams are remnants of their past selves. There's a character that gets truly obsessed with finding this person. They finally run into them, but of course that person doesn't know who they are, but they're like, you were the person I was in love with, and it just gets really out of hand. But beside that, that particular person has a best friend who's like, why are you going down this rabbit hole? And she finds out that he's joined a group of people who get together and pretty much discuss their dreams and discuss their past selves and their loved ones. And it gets really tricky. It gets really deep in the sense of, if you had the knowledge of who your soulmate was and telling them could detriment them, would you be selfish enough to try to get them back? Or would you live with the pain of knowing how close your soulmate is to you, but to never be with them again? Like, it is very interesting on defining the themes of like love loss, grief. I thought it hit on a lot of very interesting topics. I myself truly did enjoy the book. I gave it also a 3 out of 5 stars. There's times where I felt like this book could have also been told as a short story. I don't think it necessarily needed all the pages in the book. Like, it's just such a cute premise. I think it could have been shortened. Sometimes it kind of dragged on a bit, but when it caught you, and I did catch myself kind of tearing up a little bit. So I really did enjoy that book. The next thing I did is I read a series. So I started a manga series called My Boss's Kitten by Yumi Hisawa. A story about a girl who gets left at the altar, and she's supposed to buy this house with her now ex-fiance, and she doesn't have a place to go because she gave up her apartment because they're supposed to get into this house, but now she can't get the house. But she was like, hey, before they take it from me, or I could try to negotiate for it, I'll just sleep here for the night. Well, little does she know, somebody already bought the house. They come in, see her, freaks out, come to find out it's her boss. And he's kind of mean to her and stuff like that, because they're always mean to you. And he decides to be kind and allow her to stay there until she finds a home, until, of course, romantic attachments occur. They become an item. But there's that, I'm your boss, work relationship. She's younger, he's older. There's a lot of different things that go into this relationship happening, and it's absolutely beautiful. I read 4 volumes of it, and the only reason why I stopped is because they were no longer free on Kindle, and I read them so quickly, it's just not worth my money to buy them. So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get them. I'm sure there's like some free site. I'm that person. There's gotta be some free site to keep continuing these volumes. But yeah, that's the reason why I stopped. I read 4 volumes of them. The next thing that I read was Gods of Jade and Shadow. This was a surprising read. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. This tells the story of a girl who's very resentful of, her upbringing and the things that have happened to her, which have been very unjustly, mostly because she's a girl. And she ends up meeting a god where he has an issue with her family because they are the keepers of something that's kept him from being his full self. But she accidentally wakes him up, and so pretty much she accidentally wakes up a god who unknowingly her family has been holding hostage. And he says, you need to help me become my full self or I'll pretty much kill you. How that happens, you'll find out yourself. But she decides to take on the task because she hated her home life anyway. And as she's doing this back at home, the rivaling god who pretty much set it up where you need to keep XYZ here held us hostage through the generations, he's free. Y'all need to do something about it because he's not gonna take my shine, right? And so sends out her cousin to retrieve her, to stop her from helping this god raise back to being the reigning king of the gods, right? Not Zeus, but in this particular story. I would tell you the characters are cute. They're fun. I did find at times I thought the main character was a little bit like she was a little boring, but as she's coming of age and coming to herself as a person, her confidence, I really started liking her. The gods are all absolutely hilarious. If you like Rick Riordan, I think you will find a kindred spirit in reading this book, and that was surprising to me. I didn't think I was gonna like it. Something about how it was described just didn't pull me in, but getting into it, I knew by chapter 1, love the writing. I will read more from this author. I hear this author has a vampire book coming out, if it's not already out, and I'm gonna be on it because I love this author's writing. The next thing I did was a reread. 5 out of 5 stars, always will be, and that's Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Loved it yet again. It was good. My goal is to reread the books I did read because there's only 3 books out of the 7 book series that I've not read. But now that it's been so long since I've read Throne of Glass, I don't remember the details. So I said, instead of just hopping into where I left off, let's just enjoy ourselves and just slowly reread through all the books. Hopefully I'll have it read by sometime the end of next year. Next, I read a romance book, which I'm not comfortable talking about yet because I think I'm gonna talk about all of them at one time, but it was made very famous through TikTok, and I'm a fan. And if you know anything about these famous romance TikToks, I will tell you it is the blue people one. The one with the blue people. The blue people. Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to talk to you guys about my thoughts on reading that series so far. But yeah, I read one of those books last month as well. If you saw my video about manga Spice Cafe, you noticed that I did get 2 mangas, and one of them was Happy Kanako's Killer Life Volume 1. I did read that one. Oh! 5 out of 5. Surprise read, enjoyed it. I am open to actually buying volume 2 of that particular manga series. I didn't see myself reading it too fast. I kind of read it over time, so it was worth having. And I really am enjoying it. Good time. If you don't know what that book's about, it's about a young girl, Kanako clearly, who loses her job, looking for a new job, and she's going through like every business in the yellow pages. Like, do y'all even know there's such thing as a phone book? The chick went through a phone book. She's going through a phone book, for crying out loud. Ends up in an interview to be an assassin. Had no idea that's what she was doing. She so happens to be effing great at it. Like, by accident, just so good at it. She's like getting employee of the month good at it. It's pretty much just her journey through learning more about this new career choice, and the way it ends now, she's going to run into obstacles that of course come with being an assassin. So I'm really looking forward to moving on with that and seeing how that goes. I highly recommend. 5 out of 5. The last book that I read of the month was All Systems Red by Martha Wells. I've always wanted to get into the Murderbot series. This did not win me over. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars because I don't remember what happened in it. Like, I'm not even gonna tell you what it's about. I'm not sure what it's about. And it's a short novella, and I don't do well with novellas. I should have known better. But I think I'm gonna reread it again. Honestly, I'm gonna reread it again, give it another chance. If you've read it, let me know. Does it get better? Should I just give that one another reread? It could have just been me. I was preoccupied mentally when I was reading it 9 times out of 10. So I'm gonna give it another chance. So for the month of August, I read 11 books. I didn't think I read that much. Honestly, I thought it was 5 books. This month flew by. So I thought 11 books is really, really good. If you're curious, I have read 88 books for the year. And my goal is that I'm actually gonna do some back reviewing. And review some other books, because I really just want to, there's books I really want to talk about. Like there's books I didn't tell you about because I was like, oh no, I'm gonna talk about those as a series. But but yeah, there's so many books that I do want to chat with you guys about that I read. I read some books that just came out that I want to talk about, that I feel passionately either excited and happy about, or they were so bad. I was just like, my heart hurts at how disappointed I was with some books I read this month. I mean, my heart hurts for how disappointed I was for some of the books I read this year. But let me know down below, are any of these books you read? Just love to hear your thoughts. You know what? I'm glad we did this video because now it's time for me to pick up my pizza. Time to pick up my pizza. Sorry, I'm just being so annoying. But anyway, you guys, I'll see y'all later. Talk to you later. Bye.